It's time now for Truth or Fake, a look at some of the images and stories being shared online that may not be quite as they seem. France 24's Emma James joins me. Good to see you, Emma. You're starting with an extremely grisly tale.
Yes, I'm afraid so. Fake news is very often driven by prejudice and a desire to paint others in a negative light, and this is very much the case here. Divisions can be anything from political divisions to race, religion, even attitudes to vaccines, of course. Now, the France 24 observers have been taking a look at this story out of India. It is a deeply unpleasant example of this, I have to say. It's circulating in India and far beyond as well. And as the headline says here in French, no, this video doesn't show the lynching of a Muslim man by a crowd in India. Now, I'm not going to be showing you the video because although it doesn't show what it purports to, it does show a man being beaten to death, which obviously we don't want to be putting on air here. Now, the true story actually dates back to February 2020, when a man, it's believed there was some kind of financial rift going on, and then rumours circulated that he was involved in kidnapping children. Doesn't appear to have been any truth to those rumours either. And he ended up being beaten to death by a crowd of people. You see him being hit with sticks. You see him basically having a stone dropped onto his head. So it is a really gruesome thing. But this video from 2020, which has nothing whatsoever to do with religion, is now back in the headlines because it is being shared erroneously. We are seeing tweets basically blaming the followers of Narendra Modi, the Indian Prime Minister, of course, head of the Hindu Nationalist Party. Mob kills a Muslim man, says this tweet, crushed to death by a big stone, retweet and show the real face of Modi's supporters. Now, that's a tweet that's actually come from Pakistan, just to put that into some context. It isn't at all true. And frankly, those kind of accusations and very obvious bias really do have to serve as a red flag to all of us when we're looking at things on social media. Just to put it into context how widely this has been looked at, it was only up for a few days on Twitter. More than 100,000 people viewed that video from that one location. It has now been taken down by Twitter because Twitter recognising that it is fake news. But of course, so many people have already seen it.
The damage has been done. Now, one of the biggest photojournalism exhibitions happens here in France every year, but this time some fake photography has crashed the party.
It most certainly has. It's really quite embarrassing for Visa pour l'image, which happens in Perpignan every year in the south of France. It is basically the greatest show for photojournalism. It's where everybody wants to be exhibited. But this year there was a work that was featured prominently, and it's now been outed as being fake. But that was always part of the plan, at least for the photographer, not for the organisers of the event in Perpignan. They're not terribly happy because Jonas Bendiksen, a Norwegian photographer, says he wanted to expose the lack of verification and reveal how easy it is to fake this kind of reporting. Now, what he's talking about is actually true. He went to a place called Veles in Macedonia and took lots of photographs, and it is a place that was synonymous with fake news during the 2016 election in the United States. Even though it's in Macedonia, they found that lots of the fake news surrounding Donald Trump was coming from this small village in Macedonia. The thing is that this book that's been created by this photographer, nothing is as it seems. These people here are computer generated. That is not a genuine photograph. Those people do not exist. Now, as he is quoted as saying here, there was a big showing of his book in Perpignan, much to the embarrassment now of Visa pour l'image, and that basically now has been rather embarrassing for them, as I said. But what he says is he started to ask himself the question, how long will it take before we start seeing documentary photojournalism that has no other basis in reality than the photographer's fantasy and a powerful computer graphics card? Will we be able to tell the difference? And that is a very good question, because on this particular occasion, he has fooled the world. Now, this book's still available. You can actually buy a signed copy of it for €60. And Le Monde basically has said that this is playing with fire, because it really is. It's calling into question not only his credibility, but the credibility of Visa pour l'image, which is huge. It is a worldwide thing. The organisers initially were very angry, saying that they called it a real betrayal. They seem to have come to terms with it now and have understood that, yes, it's an important conversation to be had, but they kind of wish that they weren't the butt of the joke.
Emma, thank you very much for that. Emma James there with Truth or Fake. I could say it there nicely. And we're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. There's more coming up.